Right. Hello everyone. Oh, okay. I know I said I won't be doing any more talking videos, but I woke up this morning needing to talk about this. So I'm doing some new stretches now. That is going to be doing over the lockdown over the next couple of months. So I've just been drawing some stuff. But yeah, I'm wanting to talk about chords actually, like record, and how I'm seeing some of the wrinkle in time. Let's say the wrinkle in time, because this is how I'm seeing it. The more, like, I'm not trying to upset people. I'm just trying to give out my perspective of how we're gonna have to pull out of things, and the only way to be able to pull out of them is to see kind of where they are and what actually needs editing. Like, so a lot needs editing, obviously, because the people that have been overpowering us, the 1%, whatever, is going to be changed and transmuted. The energy needs to be eaten up because there's more there. If you look at scales, everyone can see where the imbalances are. But you know, it wouldn't have been able to exist otherwise as well. So it's really hard to actually talk this out because of the way my brain sees it. So multi-layered like this. It shows me like my images in the same way. It shows me this. Like your human instrument has different clairaudience, doesn't it? So you have like your hearing, which is also to do with the magnetic field. It's also a sonar. It's a sound like the bats have the echolocation, and then you have the 66 satellite dishes and that are like, I don't know if there is 66. I think there's about 66 million satellite dishes. If you think of flats stacked on top of each other with satellite dishes and that, they're almost like weapons. They give out certain frequencies that are connected to other things, and then the bats can't use the echolocation. It's the same as the humans, what they're doing to us. So actually, to study most of your gifts, if you want to awaken your psychic gifts, you can look up animal supernatural powers, because they're the ones you want to connect to, like those threads, because we're all made out of the same stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys know about Escher. I posted some of these on my Facebook, but these are really amazing to stare at for long periods of time. Like, stare at that for a long period of time. But this is also 1D, like the science drawings are all 1D. So this would be linking with the zeros and ones, because it's easy for these algorithms to understand. Whereas if you put this eye, which is how they basically worship this camera as an eye, as the eye, because it's the all-seeing eye. It's the eye they spy on everyone with. So I'm talking directly to you people the whole time I'm doing all this stuff. Directly to these people, because I can see what needs unravelling. And it can be done in a fun way. It doesn't have to be done in a negative way. But if it isn't affecting you yet, that's because you're too far stuck in a place where other people feeding off you, or you're feeding off other people more. Like, so there's an unbalance there. Like, if you're not feeling the unbalance yet, it's because you were part of the unbalance already there. Like, this is the best way I can describe some of the ways that's going on right now. Is this artist? I found this and I was like, this is probably one of the. Except it's not in colour, but it gives you even a better tone of understanding. Like, if it was in colour, it'd be even more multifaceted. But if you look at this, and again, it's showing you the mirror in it. It's got the mirror in the middle. So you've got the mirror here, and this is what I'm saying about the mirror world. Like, when I show you this art, you see the way it's crossing over, like a bit of this colour would appear there, and then a bit of the blue goes in there, and it crosses over, but in its crossover it's also diagonally matching everything up. So it shows you the same way that algorithms work, basically, because all they do is they hop from one to the other, backwards and forwards, up, down, rich, poor. It's the duality that is like this, when actually we have the three. So the third element would be what combines, but the third element is kind of what's taken away, because it's your visualization. So you're just running around your cortexes, like I said. But this is a fine example of how Gaia's filter system would work, is what I've been talking about with the art. So like when you're intaking, absorbing anything, a frequency, this, because we're all existing at a frequency. So any sound you're intaking, a sound from a bus, a sound from a car, a sound from any of these things, affect and attune your DNA. If you feel it and you've absorbed it, there's an input output. If you walk down a city and you're treading on the floor, that's going in, it's an input output. It's a frequency. It's something bouncing off of something going into somewhere else. Even like the way the UV light would hit that, the UV light scatters out more particles or whatever. Yeah, so we're also going to be talking about the electricity in this as well. Electricity, and then you've got record. So the mum has the baby and it has a cord. It's attached to that family bloodline. When you record something, you're recording it to another input output. So this also does link up with all the real matrix and everything like that. And this is exactly how it works. So if you picture, you already have memory and record within you, because you have a soul, and you record, CHORD, and then you got RECOR, or it could be REC-ORD, record. You know, it's like wrecking the cord. It's the same with the money. The money transfers goes backwards and forwards. People keep going on and on at me about money. I keep having these rows with people about money. I don't want to use it. What about if I don't like a certain colour in my painting? I don't use it. I'm looking at this reality as a way I'd set up a canvas. Yeah, if there's a bit I don't like in my canvas, I'll go like that and I change it. The way out here, there's loads of things that need changing. So like when we're going to start looking at the earth, the new earth, we're building it. We're going to look at the earth as a blank canvas, and then we're going to build up from that. So you've got to look at what you've recorded within you, what's existing within you, and how are you going to, change that into something that benefits you. So like, I'll listen to all the music and that I listen to, or the things I choose to intake frequency-wise. That's why I don't really like going out, because I'm really frequency sensitive. There's sound and stuff I don't like, I don't want to intake it. So I'll just stay where I do want to intake stuff, because that's what feels good for me. And if people don't like it, then deal with your own energy. Don't be around me. You know what I mean? Because I do what feels good for me, and what feels good for me will feel good for other people. Because if I'm around people and I don't feel good, what's that good doing for them? I need to be around places that make me feel good. And this is where I'm asking my own soul. I'm going into my own data, my own record. And in my own record could be part of a dead whale in my blood and my tissue. You know, my great nan, who gave birth to my mum and my mum's mum, could have eaten a bit of soil, that was created from a dead whale once and gone into them bones, and then, then that person gave birth to that person. That frequency exists within that person, and it would exist in that baby, and then that baby, that mum could have eaten some part of, all the food we're on is growing out of chalk, which is dead bones. So all the energy we're eating off is growing off something that's dead, and taking the last bit of energy out of that as well. Because it always stays at a low state of the record within the Earth's core, and with the Earth's heart and the Earth's filter system. And this is just the way it's going, we're all actually one energy. Because when you look at the core, it all shines out the same. So, when we're looking at this, you think of this like the Earth. So like you see these little bits at the bottom, they're just about drawn, yeah? Yeah, see them sketches? That's how my art starts in my books. And then you see how detailed these ones are, but then you can see the wings just here. They've only just got a bit of shape and form, and the rest is left quite flat. And then these ones here are really, really detailed. That's a trick of the light right there. You look at this one, how the white is hitting, where the light's hitting it, in comparison to this one. It has no shape and form. So these are layers of tone, layers and layers. The same way you'd layer everything out here when you're building. the same way I'm layering that, I'm not drawing it out. This is drawn out, but I'm not drawing this out. This is just layers of colour and tone. Everything out here you're looking at is colour. You know, once you create something, you're giving it consciousness a life, because you're giving it to, if colour only exists in your brain and you're giving consciousness life to this, and that life then exists in your brain, because then this is entering the real matrix. This is entering the blood, so it's causing a emotion, which is causing a charge, which is then giving out another energy. So if I'm listening to all these sounds, listening to these things, I'm capturing it within my bones, because I understand where to put my mind and my consciousness. Yeah, people are saying unmind, people are saying this, people are saying come out the mind, do that. But the thing is, the mind already exists because it's there, so we may as well use it, and we may as well format it in the way that we want to enhance it to help the earth and help what we're going to do. So everything we're looking at now, if there's stuff still existing, yeah, okay, it exists. It exists, it's there. What we're going to do with it? You can't keep looking at it, pointing at it, saying this is what it is, this is what it is. You know, people going out and shouting in front of Buckingham Palace paedophiles ain't helping the situation, if I'm honest. It may help the people get it out, and yeah, it's getting the word out to other people that it exists, but then everyone's just talking about paedophiles, and that grows to exist all the time. Like, yeah, I've spoken about it because I gave my side of the story of how I perceived it. And now it's out there. Now I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about how we get out of the situation. Because loads of people are starting to wake up now, and like loads of people are embedded and stuck within Hollywood. And there is a lot of people like me, okay, that aren't fully immersed in it, but it does still exist within my consciousness because I've seen it. So if anyone has actually watched Hollywood or watched anything to do with the TV or watched The Box, if it's existing in your memory and you understand what it is, who it is, where it is, then you're in that real matrix. Because those emotions and those memories and those shapes and forms are stored within your memory. They're stored within your crystal, your USB stick, which is your liquid hue. The memory of it is stored within you. So like, if you look at something outside that triggers it, it could bring out one of them memories, and you're vibrating that up, then you're in that world, that bubble that's really existing there. So when I'm capturing these frequencies, these sounds, I'm editing them, I'm capturing them, and then I'm linking them up with my own bones, my own cellular memory structure, and then I'm putting them out in this way, which is then creating a new format out of them and spitting it back out to people in another way. So I'm using one energy in my human instrument, changing it, and then I'm putting it back out in another energy. And then it's caught, like, if you picture people in other places where they're consuming music or theatre or the arts, they're absorbing the energy, and then they're still giving out the energy and the emotion, but they're not actually capturing it. Or, you know, we could hold crystals in our hands or our pockets, or hold a mineral or something, you know, that like this gives a charge, for instance. This is a bit of shell. This is Jurassic from New Forest. Yeah, this has like bits of metal in. But this is a shell, see here? It's a bit shiny, it's not focusing. See, it doesn't like these dimensions, a bit complicated for it. The eye on here, that I mean, because it never focuses fully on these dimensions, because it confuses it. Because the eye's only used to being stuck around the box and in the squares and in, you know, the other places. Talk about all the facial recognition. Clown makeup's actually the only thing that gets rid of facial recognition, because that's how Serco's going to start deciding who kills who off next. You know, there's going to be a time soon you'll be able to go to the shop and buy yourself a loaf of bread without a number on the end of it. So if you're not stuck in the facial recognition, and you ain't got a bank account, you ain't got these things, you don't exist as a system, you can't eat unless you get a chip put in your arm. That's what they're going to do. They're going to keep rolling it out, because they're killing off the food around Europe. Yeah, one of the bombs they set off in one of the Israeli countries, whatever, they killed off all the seeds for the food. But the seeds they sell in all the garden centres and that, the seeds ain't no good, because they grow, the carrots grow like this big. Yeah, it's like, food is hard to grow. It's an alchemy that you can't just learn overnight. So you're looking at these people who understand how to do this stuff right now. Or you're looking at going in a digital way. And science doesn't look good right now, to me. Science doesn't look good to me right now. Some of the things I'm hearing, seeing, listening, some of these masculine ideas, yeah, you masculines need to go back more into your feminine. Yeah, and my masculine also needs to come out a bit more. But I'm still working on that, because I'm still healing my feminine within me, because the society has separated the two. Oh, man do this, or women do that. Man do this, women do that. we need to combine them, and the easiest way to combine them is to combine them with yourself. Otherwise, you're spitting out your filter, your perspective onto a man that doesn't even understand your filter or your perspective, then he's just going to spit his back at you. So you're constantly going spit from two different filters, two different perspectives. You may have met each other, been together 20 years or whatever, but you know, you didn't have the same child upbringing as that person, and that's still coming out of their blood and their DNA right now. The record with people having sex, it's a record again. It's like that mum and dad with that person, they've got different bloodline who recorded with maybe that one. When you look at family trees, it's a lot more complex than you could ever imagine. The social services take, I think, is it 10,000, maybe a bit more. I know it's no less, either 30,000 or 10,000 kids a year by law out of this country, and they do it everywhere else. You know, they create the earthquakes in these places to shatter these things. Yeah, they do things underground to enhance storms and that in America, because it's what they do, because they enjoy it, and then people up here don't think about it, because it's an art to them, because everything is art. The clouds, you know, everything is water that's coming out of decomposed dead stuff. It's not dead, it's still like the energy's all still flowing. They keep it at a certain level so it never gets higher than that, you know. That's just how they do it. But you got to see the real, mate. It's like this, you know. So like if you picture this would be you coming out the womb, and it's a mirror again. Look, so it's the same concept. Like I said, we're different from left to right. It's a mirror effect. And it's kind of like this. So you picture this would be the chalk, the bones, the Dead Sea, the bottom, the sand, and then like the bits of sand or the buildings, the cities and that are made out of, has come from like all the dead stuff that's been then decomposed, and then, you know, in our blood we have all the different minerals and all the different colours and the hues and the metals, and then they all collaborate and squash into gold and stuff, and then we're mining that stuff out, and then we're using it in all the electronics, and we're selling it as well, like I said in my other video. So you've got to picture this as like the great canvas, and when I'm painting on canvas and I get all my colours and mix them on a palette, it creates brown, which would be like the soil. So you see the soil as the Earth's palette, and then what has created that palette, all the energy of the life, and then but it's still alive now because it's in the Earth. So it's like this would be like the chalk and the palette, and then we're feeding off of that, and then it's creating babies coming out of the mirror matrix again, and then it's going round, and then it's dying again, and then it's becoming a blank canvas as a soul, and then it's becoming back a soul essence again, and it just, even this looks like the tourist field, you know, it just keeps going round and round, and you see this shape everywhere. You see this shape everywhere. So what are we going to look at when energy draws energy to places on the record, you know, because this even is going down to the porn industry. I was talking about this the other day with my cousin that who's here. We were saying, you know, it is creating these energies within people to see, like for instance, record. So let's talk about the record again a bit more before going to this the porn stuff and how perceived to follow certain things. Because when you take away the money, because the arguments I'm having with people is all over money. Okay, so money doesn't make the world go round. Human trafficking does. Money does not make the world go round. Human trafficking does. So what's the drive in this realm? What's the drive for people? What do people really want to chase? What do really people want right now? Because I used to love going out. I love going out. I love music. I love losing myself in these places. I love losing myself in this. But there's also all the darkness there as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand how these worlds function. I've seen them. I've lived in them, in and out of them. But I wanted to be, at some point, I did want to be a famous artist until I met a few famous artists. And then I decided very young, at the age of 16, that I didn't want to be like these people. And I didn't like these people at all. I have no respect for them. And it upset me. And it changed my path. And it changed my path to think, what is actually good for me? Yeah. And then I went down this whole other journey. I'm not going to talk about it now because I've spoken about it. But with my art, I wanted to create this feeling, like I'm feeling like I have mental health, but I don't have mental health. I'm thinking, because what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and then I'm thinking, you know, I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and then people are like, I'll give you this, give you that for it, but maybe I don't want that for it, because I've put my time, my emotion, my energy. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe it took me 3 days to paint this, a couple of layers each time, but it's taken me over 20 years, about 20 years to be able to paint like this and produce this stuff. It's taken trial and error of 20 years. People say, oh, I'd love to be able to draw, I'd love to be able to paint. Well, do it then, because I did. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell people something to make them feel better when they need to do it for themselves at the end of the day. Because it has been really hard doing this stuff, but I pursued it because that's where I chose to put my energy. That's where I chose to put my energy, because it made me feel good. And a lot of other things in my life haven't made me feel good. So I chose that path, and yet I still get people saying all this and that to me. But when you're recording something, it's playing over and over again. Whereas we want to get to this state where you can just keep producing without recording it. Because the records are like, you could get corded to one thing and then corded to another thing, and then your soul energy is actually entwined with that place. So then you're here, you're there, and then it's scattering the soul energy like in all the wrong places. It's like if you are going to set off like a Catherine wheel firework in this room and it would spin around in all these places. This is what everyone's soul energy is doing right now. And like, to even go on here, you have to look at all the election, you have to look at all the bullshit, because to even talk to the people you want to talk to that you love, which now we've all been put in this prison of the internet in a way, then yeah, all the energies are being recorded into another realm, into another reality, into a fourth dimension, because this is where actually a lot of the thought is being collaborated with and then grounded into the physical, because this isn't really a physical, this is a record. As you're watching me right now, you're not looking at my full natural dimensions, you're looking at a 1D form of dimensions. If you were to see me in real life, you're looking at a 3D form. So like I said over and over and over again, this is making us dumb. This tech makes us dumb, because I can't touch, I can't smell, I can't do these things. So you're only getting 2 of the senses. You're getting your sight and your sound, and both of them are also dumbed down by format. You know, if I'm banging a drum right now, you're getting an echolocation of circular sound, echo, coming out of it. If I'm playing out of a speaker, you're still getting an echolocation of a square, unless the speaker is actually changed shape and giving out a resonance in another way. But to still even access the speaker, or to still even access the music, I still have to go through these filters of my subconscious intaking, you know, an imprint of a picture of the apple, a bite out of the magnetic field, which is what they're doing. So we're reclaiming the magnetic field. And what does that come down to? The shape of women. The shape of these things is actually the shape to reproduce, the magnetic field, you know, it's the shape of the curves and all things like this. So, but the men came out of the womb too. So we're looking at this thing, and then you've got videos in here about why the rooster lost its penis, and that the earth is actually making it extinct right now. Lots of the new bird species and that. And this isn't to all the men. I'm not saying this to all the men. I'm just saying to the ones that obviously in the shadow side have taken it too far. Yeah, you've taken it too far, and the earth is not putting up with it anymore. So it's going to change its ways. And when you say what does come first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it is the cosmic egg. Because there's loads of birds and chickens that produce eggs without a penis or the sperm now. But is it because there's so much of it existing? Because the sperm actually would be calcium, I guess, and then that's in our bones. When you're at school, they feed you loads and loads of milk. Well, that's for baby cow, not baby cow. So the energy's fractured. And there's obviously like a new way where we're going to be progressing to now, which is going to defy everything that everyone believes and understands, because this is the way that we've been programmed in school to believe it. And it's not anyone's fault, because that's the way they've been programmed. So now we're looking at deprogramming and reprogramming in a higher energy state in a different way. And they all know this has come to like a boiling point now as well. The people in the shadow side that also programmed us in the wrong way also know that this has come to a boiling point right now, and that the tracks are like this. They're going to go this way or this way. So they're either going to go in the way we've been programmed and structured is masculine, feminine. So they're either going to go in a masculine way or a feminine way, or we can combine the two, right? Science right now is a very masculine way, and it ain't good. You know, we've got people here talking about natural fibres and trying to use, you know, you're looking at my videos and I'm talking about cymatics and a more natural way of helping the earth. But yet you're taking some of the ideas that I'm talking about on channels that I didn't want to talk on because they're too science-minded. But yet you're trying to take it and combine it with something that needs completely changing. Yeah, I don't want contact lenses with my eyes telling me data. Yeah, you saying, oh, we could go inside an eagle, we could go inside this animal and see this. Well, how about you go within and you try and connect to your feminine and your emotions and you look at things in a different way, yeah, and you could actually then become that eagle. You could put yourself in an eagle's eyes. I've done it in deep states of astral projection and meditation. You could go anywhere in the world you wanted to. Like I said, there could be dead bits of whale existing within my muscle memory. So all you have to do is go within, and within you is existing everything. And if you could actually understand the belief, because it's your plasma and your hydrogen within your waters that ignites your belief, so everything is based around religion and belief. You uphold that foundation of belief and you replug it into something that's real and that's present, because it's only when you're present that you can actually be creating the most change of where you are, because everything is only existing as it's present. If your brain is sitting in what's going on with you in the past, if your brain is focusing on where you're going to be in the future, then you're ignoring where you are present, and that's actually not getting where you want to be in the future. Yes, I'm saying not completely not look at the past. You have to look at the past to pull out, to kind of look at the future, yes, but also it's like the 3-day rule I try and live by if I'm creating, because we are stuck in this realm, so we do have to deal with outside as well as inside, but try to just be aware of the two and combining them a bit, and then try and go into, you know, am I present? Okay, so if I would like to be around that energy, how can I listen to something or create something or you know, have the imagination and then react to that. You know, like if you watch something to do with a certain video and then you have a certain emotion that goes out on that, that's where you're putting your record, you're recording yourself onto another track of energy. So this is how I see it. If you look at it as an umbilical cord, your umbilical cord of your emotions is going to one cord, it's going to another cord. How you gonna, if you want to be in your bubble, you shut them cords off and you go within, and you go within into all the memory that you're made out of. Because like I said, yes, we have to go past, you know, every time I come on this phone, I'm just seeing the sun. I'm just seeing like the Sun newspaper or the elections or all this stuff. And it's doing my head in, because it's actually attaching me to all them cords just by looking at that shape and form. Because like I said, it's within the subconscious. It's already programmed within everyone's subconscious. This is what they've done. So they only have to put little triggers out here and there. And then you're attached to it. It's the same what they do with some of the dark entity abuse as well. You know, I do understand how they've restructured the mind, and it is like a construct of how they can harvest energy. Like, for instance, the porn industry is a massive one that's actually really hurt a lot of people, and people don't even understand, and it's really bad, because like people go in there, you got to know, because I have existed in these worlds. Like, I haven't been in the porn industry, no, but I've been around adult work and that a lot, and I do well because I thought I was wanted to be a famous artist, so I pulled out of it because I didn't want my name linked to it. But that place just kept drawing me back there and drawing me back there, and it's because it's so creative. And it's so easy to do it. There's so many women coming over from Europe to here to London, like. For instance, there was a Polish woman, a really lovely lady. She was an artist. She had a whole photography studio, blah blah blah, and her partner beat her up and smashed up all of her equipment, and it was worth thousands and thousands of pounds. And she couldn't work. She had no rent. She was fucked, and she came over and put herself on adult work, started prostituting herself to earn back the money within a few months. You know, and I used to go around there and get drunk and get on it. I used to go around there and hang out with the girls. We used to answer the phone, take the mic out of all the men on there. You know, there's weird stuff on there. There's people like men asking some of the girls to stand across the street in London, go to the street, stand at a bus stop. My wife's died, I want you to stand in heels, tell them how to dress. And then they want these women to abuse them from across the road because they get off on all these weird things. There's people on there offering to pay for girls' dirty knickers for like £400 for a bag of their knickers over a certain period of time. There's pages and pages of things you tick on there to do, like water sports with people shitting and pissing on each other. This is happening everywhere. I'd say probably over a quarter of this country is involved with it. When I went to Thailand, it was massive. It's on the thing over there. This is a global website called Adult Work. Why is no one talking about it? I've seen Sean Atwood, you've done one little thing on it on there. Why aren't you exposing that? Why aren't all these people on YouTube exposing all these things? It's because, actually, the fault of where the science is going, yeah, from some of the things people are talking about on there, isn't going in a good way. And actually, probably a lot of the men on there would agree with where the science is going, because then it would trap a lot of women and, you know, talking about drilling holes in the back of your skull and putting it into our neural network. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to have that much control over the biology. All you need to do is gain control of your own, and then maybe you wouldn't want to control other people so much, is what I'm saying. Because when you're watching all this porn industry and all these people, they look like they're having a great time. Well, when people mention money, people put the energy there because they want the money, and then the money gives them freedom to do stuff. So when you take the money away from the men, they can't control the women with it. So it makes them feel worthless because, you know, when the blood goes to the penis, I've said this in my mate who was a spoken word artist, Simon, he died when he was in Cambodia. I told him 3 weeks before, you're going to die in a motorcycle accident if you don't stop driving like that. 3 months later in Vietnam, he died in a full-on collision. He's still with me in spirit, you know. He's still in some of my books now, some of the writings that we did. My penis is a compass. Because girls would walk into the guest houses in Cambodia and all the men just go whoop and point to them, because all the blood does go to the penis. It comes out from all the rest of their body and just goes there, and it is just literally something they can't control. So what we can do about this, and I'm talking openly here because, you know, I've been to sex shows and that in Amsterdam, and it was the least sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, I'm sitting there, taking some mushrooms, giggling my head off at these people. It's like everyone's just there to say they've been to a sex show in Amsterdam, or you get the people on the stage that just look like they're doing another gym workout, what they do every day, and there's nothing there that ties you to it. It's like, I get annoyed all the time with men. Oh, look at her ass, look at that. I've had someone pinch my ass. I twisted their balls and told them to fuck off. I turned round, I grabbed them, twisted their balls and said, don't you ever touch me. Yeah, I've been out with girls in the past, in nightclubs and that, and men just think it's okay to come in and to interrupt that kind of stuff, you know, like to kiss you, whatever. If I go out with a man and a girl and I go to a nightclub, they wouldn't come over and grab my bum if I was with another man. Why is it alright for women to do it? It's because all the girls who aren't even gay go round, oh, I'm gay. If a man comes up to chat you up at the bar, oh, I'm gay. So when you do actually get two girls that are out that don't always look like lesbians or whatever they have to look like, I'm not really into labels, then we get harassed and then we start arguing, and it's hard work. It's been really hard work, like just trying to be happy or just trying to get healthy or just trying to heal. And it is because of all these mirrors, you know, like the sex altar. Everyone has like a sex altar, everyone has a work altar, everyone has a, you know, a society altar. These are the ways you act in front of different people. I try and act the same everywhere I go. Because that's just who I am. I don't want to put on all these mirrors to show out for everyone else. And when we're looking at the porn industry, men are watching that thinking women like it, when actually they don't. It's just because there's a lot of money in it. And these worlds allow freedom outside of the normal, the day-to-day, or get up this day, do this time, you know. Like, these girls are earning a lot of money within like an hour. They've got a lot of time to spend it. They're on a lot of drugs. They're taking a lot of alcohol. And a lot of them are now stuck in this place. They can't come out of it and go, oh, I'll get a normal job. Oh, yeah, I've just been doing this for the last whatever so years. I felt really lucky that I got out of it when I did, because it was addictive. You know, I was doing some webcams and that with them, because it was fun putting on wigs and makeup. We'd cover up all our tattoos, or I'd just get drunk and I'd get dressed up, and it was fun. It was fun more than any other job. Yeah, they'd always buy me food and buy me that. I'd answer the phones. We'd just take the piss out of it. We'd have a laugh with it when we were there. But this world is completely like shut off from everybody. But it's existing everywhere. It's existing absolutely everywhere. You go to any country, type in that website, type in who's around you. You know, if I really wanted to tomorrow, I could make a website and then a couple of grand in this week if I wanted to. But I'm not going to, because it's actually a it's like black magic on the womb, because then you're linking money to the womb, which would be source energy where creation is. So then you're linking money to the source, which would be the womb, because everything existing on this planet has come out of the womb. So is it something they've created? Have they created the womb? Have they created all the organs? Like I said in my last one, some Aborigines don't even have certain organs because they haven't drunk alcohol. So has all these things been constructed and recreated throughout long periods of time when all this stuff went underground with the adrenochrome and all that? Because they've been studying us. We're the main focus of everything. When people start actually understanding how they're studying us, maybe we'll get somewhere. Because people can start studying themselves. Like all the technologies, all the zeros and ones. It's a very low fractured state of what we actually are. But at the same time, you have the highest and the low together at the same. So in the heightened places you describe it, but like for instance let me just get to about the porn industry thing. So when people are watching it on here, because I've never liked porn, like I've always been connected to people that I like because they have a certain vibration, or like I've always liked people's eyes. I really love eyes, or just their energy, their creativity. I'm drawn to things in people that not other people are always drawn to, whereas I've always hated it when people go, oh, look how hot she is, or oh, look at that. I don't think that's a nice way to give people compliment, or I don't think if you go, oh, that's fit, oh, that's that, then that's a feed. That's a feed. Like people are feeding off each other when they're having sex. So there's different forms of sex. So there's a lot of energy stored in these places. So yes, we're going to have to look at it to survive, to actually survive, because otherwise you're going to be getting psychopaths going around. Like the Muslim men coming over here now, and I'll talk to you face to face, going, any of you come near me, I'll flamethrower you in the face with a lighter and a can of hairspray, or get something, you know what I mean? People ain't stupid. No one's coming to my door putting anything near my body, yeah? None of you. And I don't care, even if someone agrees to have a vaccine, none of you coming near me, yeah? No one is. And this is the thing, a lot of people here saying this as well. And the people ain't going to deal with it, yeah? So you guys, running the government, whatever, you watch this, own up to it. And I know some of you are watching videos. I know you're watching it even though the views don't go up. Because I can feel it psychically even before it's uploaded. Or even before the views gone up. I can feel people watching it and I can feel their reaction. Because these are the reactions the earth gives you when you're in the right direction. I don't need loads of views, don't need loads of subscribers, I like having less. The people that are meant to find this video in the places at the time they're meant to see them will find them. And the people that I feel guided to send them to, whether they want to watch them or not, is alright. I just follow what I need to do at a certain time I'm doing it, and if it suits the person at that time, it may not in the future, but it may at that time. And that's alright. And that is how the earth's trying to fix itself now, is it's trying to draw people near each other that have certain things that can help balance, because we're going to have to balance these things. But like, so when people are recording the porn industry and all these worlds, because they are fake authors, you know, there's just people that are married in London every day that are going to these places, like every day, like they'll finish work or on their lunch break, they'll go to these places, like these are married in families, it's a whole hidden world. The amount of times I've been behind bars and listened to groups of people talking when they're drunk, or I know exactly how people function, their good side and their bad side. I've spent most of my life working and looking after big grown-up men in a baby crash. What do you think else you do when you run a pub? You look after deformed people, letting out their emotions where they're not allowed to anywhere else. first hand dealing with it for 10 years. And you think you don't learn nothing. And you have a kid and you want it to learn about life, send it to hospitality when it's 16. Learn about people, learn about everything. Because the people who are in charge right now, you know how to talk to people. You'll be alright. Maybe right now, how I'm talking to people, people don't like it. But at the end of the day, it's what they need to hear to survive. But when we're going into this allows everyone to stay separate in one location. Like, everyone in London is living completely different lives, whereas like here in Canterbury, yeah, it is a bit up and down with people, but the thing is, people start to act like packs of wild dogs. Like, you come to attack somewhere, then they're going to defend where their grounds are almost. So you do get a lot of people that are actually really connected when you're connected in a different format of, like, not just on here. You've met on here, like, you've actually grown up and created bonds with these people. But then it depends what them bonds were thriving off. Were they thriving off for money? Were they thriving off for you gaining money? Or gaining a part of yourself you felt was missing, what you couldn't give to yourself? You know, because there's a lot of fractured, hurting people in these places. And the thing is, the people that are taking the drugs, are people that are taking these things, are the most vulnerable. They're the ones that hold the most emotions within them. And this is how the Moth to a Flame's been designed also, and how it stopped these people from the 1%, from overpowering the 1%. Like the army, all these things, they're not there to help us. The government isn't there, the police, okay, not all of them, but maybe a lot of them are there just to protect these people, unfortunately. And people go, yeah, I'll go into the army, because it gives them an easy option to travel the world and to not worry about so many things. You know, can you imagine how much art I would have produced if I didn't have to survive, if I didn't have to pay this, pay that, do this, do that? How much time would I have? Look how much I've produced through struggling. So you look at these people, they've got everyone they can order around to do what they want for them. They've got abundance of money and abundance of imagination, because they're not stressed out all the time, with their minds here, there and everywhere. Because that's all money is a mental trap of the mind. But yet, like I said, then you've got the energies, all the taboo energies that are hidden behind the scenes, where you don't see, like the porn industry, I'll get to it now, is they're all on drugs, basically, a lot of them. And when you see them shagging and doing all this stuff, it is basically because they're on drugs. And it looks like they're enjoying it and having a good time, but they're not that high. So you're also receiving that energy from their auras, from their fields, and then that energy is like going within your system, because you're feeling the emotions. So then it's gone in with the real matrix, because they're also connected to the real matrix, because they're on it, and then the memories in the subconscious, and then it's already a part of you. And then if you're giving it out, then that's programming your subconscious, because your memory would store with things that you enjoy. Like, if you go through all your memories in your life now, the ones that stick out are the ones with more heightened emotions, or something that you enjoyed to look at. So then your deep subconscious would have stuck out a bit more. Like the same with something traumatic happened to you, then that would also stick out a bit more within the subconscious. So these things are going to stick out. So when men are walking around, they're like, oh, her arse and that looks nice. It's because a lot of them have watched porn, and then they're craving that energy from the porn, when actually then people are just receiving money, and they're hidden in this taboo world, because a lot of the world is coinciding with this world. And then this adult work thing is like a massive gateway to the, I'm pretty sure it's linked with all the Epstein stuff and all the other stuff, you know, and they're earning so much money on it. They're earning so much money on it. People need to start understanding that these worlds exist, and that they're coinciding with everyone, and they're accessible to anyone at any time. And once we start looking at the taboo worlds, because they're hiding so much energy within them, then we can start to transmute those places and that thing, and then we need to start merging them with other places. Because, you know, you couldn't put kids in these places, but there are kids in these places when you go through that black hole of the adult work, and then you come through. It would be linking with all the paedophile stuff, because it's the same. The pages and pages of the things they're doing sex are probably doing to the kids, which they are, and then it links into the arts. which then would be the film, and then it links back to Hollywood. You know, they've got the mansions everywhere where they're recording, you know, 16 rooms of kids and all these things. And the real Matrix is where they have to keep recording the snuff movies and all the things like that, because then they're actually recording it onto the inox side within the real, and then that's actually stuck within the real, quite literally within our blood, within everything existing right now within that real Matrix, which is from record. It's a record, you know, of shape and form. And a lot of it isn't to do with money, it's to do with human trafficking. Human trafficking makes the world go round. Money does not make the world go round right now. Human trafficking does. But there's all creativity in this adult world. So when we're looking at, oh, why are there no adults being creative? There's a lot of adults being creative, but they're being creative behind closed doors. And when we truly start to look at this as our reality, because everyone's existing in it. Everyone is a part of it. Everyone is a part of everyone when you look at it in the state of the real Matrix. And everyone's watched Hollywood, everyone's a part of it. You know, so all it is an energy transfer. And if you've got Tom Hanks, you've got these people, they're stuck in a lot of people's subconsciouses, so they're a high advantage of the real Matrix, so they're gaining energy all the time. So when you're gaining good energy from it, it's alright. But when things start to turn, the energy is going to go into these people in not a good way, but then they're still holding it, or whether it's good or whether it's bad, you know, because this is what duality's done, masculine, feminine, up, down, blah, blah. When actually we could take it to a third energy, which is the God particle, the universe. They understand it was 1, 2, 3. And if we combine our own masculine and feminine within, that would create a third within everybody. So the men need to stop spitting out the women, and the women stop spitting out the men, and then we need to decide, okay, if the woman does the washing up, the man does this, maybe the woman do this as well, and then the man do that, and then we need to eat our way out of it till we actually come to some kind of middle ground with everyone being equal about it. Because it ain't a man's world, but it ain't a woman's world either. Because the two need to be existing. It is just what it is. Things are just what they are. Things are just colour. Things are just a different formatted state of water. Anything we're perceiving it as has been programmed into us from, you know, a foundation program at school, and then we've accumulated from understanding of that foundation other perspectives from that one base trained perspective, when actually what we need to uproot and change now is that one base foundation perspective, which would be language and the way we're communicating the communications, which is on through this. This is fracturing our communications, but also bringing them together at the same time globally as a whole, as a one, because we're being allowed to meet people we haven't met before on the internet. So yes, existing like the yin and the yang within everything, there is a good and a bad within. Like within the government, there is good people as well, because it's existing within them. But like for I do this when I get a lot of charge of energy around my body. I always have to recharge it back in. This is what I mean, just simple things like this. Like you're receiving energy from somewhere, it's not an anxiety, it's literally a charge. So take the charge into your hand and just go like this. And you can visualise it floating back into other parts of your body where it needs it. Yeah. I want to stop talking now because I want to paint. I'm just going to do this last video for a bit. But yeah, I'll show you a few more of these because they're pretty cool. Like you can fix your eyes in different colours of them. Like if you fix it on the red, then all the yellows. But yeah, the presence and all that. It's just the same. It's just another altar that we actually need to get rid of. It's like there's so much hype around the election that yesterday. It's because they're really craving energy. They're needing energy because it's dying out. You know, you're dealing with a bunch of addicts here. You're dealing with a bunch of addicts. You're taking away their fix. They're going to lash out for it until they can deal with their own energy. But to be honest, they're feeding off of ours. So if you are quite high up and you're feeling like you're losing energy now, it's because you've taken loads that was unbalanced at some point. It was unbalanced at some point. So for things to balance out, it just needs people to tip up, people to cut. It's all this kind of configuration of recording when actually everything should be a state of present, because it's keeping in the past to the future, and then that is time. Watch A Wrinkle in Time by Disney, and then you'll see the cymatics. The cymatics is actually a record of where you get the art and the thing. Like, I'm recording on here. I'm recording here. Then it's constantly going, do you know what I mean? So it's a separation though. Like, if we got, because the animals and that are all in the same way, because they all got the bloodlines as well, so it's gone down and down and down. But the animals are another fracture of us too, you know. But they can help us because they're not so programmed. Like the animals and the kids would be the ones that can help us tune us back into the earth. So they're really important right now. But we're like killing them off, abusing them. We love them too, you know, but we don't listen to them. We completely dominate them. So there's also unbalance there. We're just looking at loads of different tracks. There's so many different tracks of energy, pockets of energy. And this is where you'll start finding, like, okay, yeah, some of the people coming out of music produced places may feel like, oh, I've lost everything, because they're running out. Like, there's a lot of people right now just living out of the internet. So they're living out of the record, and they're getting all their energy from cording out of all these. But when we take away this, there's going to be loads of people that completely lose their foundations because they're surviving out of something that is easier, and it's living off other people who aren't choosing the easier life. But then everything had to have its balance to even create it. So, but the only thing that really matters right now is how you can throw it in and out of your body. Because a lot of people drinking or taking all this stuff is numbing the body, and the body's actually where the memory is and a lot of the information, because it's a moving state of water, and it's quite an intelligent one, whereas some of the other stuff around me right now isn't. It's fixed. It's like been petrified. It hasn't got all the functions of the spirit, which is what they studied, the human spirit. So when we take these away, it's the thing that would be of most value to you is what is stored in your subconscious from what you personally chose as your filter. Well, not you personally chose, but whatever you filtered in. You have personally chose it in a way, because I'll walk through Covent Garden in London, for instance, let's say, and I'll choose to only intake in my eyes what I want to, but that's because I train my eyes to do that because of painting and art. So I'll like separate some shapes from my eyes and choose, oh, just like that, so I'll collaborate that with that piece, and then I like that energy, I'm going to pick that energy or that colour with that shape because that works. And then in a way that's like you're mixing a world of something you're trying to create. But even if you took away my paints and all my colours and that, I could still create that world. Like, I've been moving physical matter through the crystals and that, I just put that energy of what I'm using, because I could look at let's say a setup of I don't know, say that the School of Sustainability, you go put me there, I'll look at creating it like I'd create a painting, because in a painting I'm creating a world of how I want it to shine out, but then I'm just taking the painting out of the painting and then making it in real life. But I wouldn't be able to recreate the painting in real life unless I already had the training of mixing it in the canvas, if that makes any sense. So like I see in the future more, and this is what Starseed Activate and all that, and this is where we had Ali coming over from America, because we had the same visions of where we're going to be, of like having large crowds of people, like thousands of people, doing like say certain sounds, like you have the Mongolian throat singing that were like hum. If you practice that sound every day for a long period of time, then you're creating your own hum within your own body, which means your own energy is then talking to your own bones. But you're only doing it for you, so that you're not giving it out to anyone else, so that it's not connected to anyone else's it's not attached to anyone else's cord. So you're just in your own Om cord, and then you're vibrating that out, and then if you fix your subconscious mind to where you want to send it, then you can send it telepathically to somewhere else, because the energy is more powered up. And if that person's open to receiving it, which a lot of people in here are, then this is how we're taking the brain of the internet and then we're plugging it into the World Wide Web, because I'm connected to the World Wide Web, because I have a nervous system which is the same. You know, I had another scientist here the other day I was kind of bickering with a little bit, but then in the end we came to some conclusion that we both really enjoyed cymatics, and that he didn't understand cymatics was called that, but he was trying to study colour. And he was going, yeah, I found this and then this and it made this colour. And I was sitting there thinking, that's all my brain's done since I was 16. Is take that colour and then keep doing it, and then it's created this. So that's how I've learnt 20 years to paint. But he's only just starting to look at that now, but he's talking about science stuff. And he's like, but no, this is this because science says it is. And it's his own brain that's stopping him from freeing himself. But I'm just having this constant like circle over, because if science is science, it's fixed. And that's the masculine energy with it, you know. I'm an artist, he's a scientist, but then he's saying I'm a scientist, but he makes art, because he makes sculptures. He made this like big kinetic sculpture, and he's like, but it's science. And I'm like, well, it's art. And then he's like, well, you make art because you make this and that. And I said, well, no, because this is science. And then he's like, and I'm like, what you're doing is art. But then we were both fixed on it. But I'm like, okay, well, science is art. And then he's like, well, no. And he's like, art is this. And I'm like, but they separated the two.